I am now at the point where I want to establish part numbers for the components on the right side of the door panel on my control box. I have some voltmeters and some amperage meters and other various meters that I want to pick out. I'm going to go ahead and choose the first component to be a voltmeter. So I'll go ahead to my symbol properties and go to my manufacturer part and circuits tab. And if I go ahead and do a search for the components that I'm looking for and discover that I'm not finding one in my catalog already, I can now go ahead and make a new component on the fly. Let's close this screen and use the Add Manually option. It brings up the Part Properties Manager. Here I can choose the manufacturer's part number for the component and the manufacturer. I'm going to pick the drop-down list here first to make sure that the manufacturer that I'm going to use isn't already in here. That way I'm not going to spell something wrong and have duplicate manufacturer names in the list. I notice that the manufacturer that I'm looking for, Acme, is not in here. So I will just type in Acme. And I will choose the part number from the spec sheet for the particular voltmeter that I have in mind. I might also have my own internal part number, and I know the description. Other things that you might add while you're at the part properties screen is a default schematic symbol, a default line diagram symbol, a default connection label property, and even the 3D part that will be established on the SOLIDWORKS 3D Mechanical software. So here, let me make these large icons so I can browse through this list a little bit easier, and I can choose the meter that I'm looking for. That's the amp, and here's the voltage. So I can actually just select it right from my database. And that could also be in the Enterprise PDM system. I can browse right into there. I can also add the circuits that are required. So I can add one circuit at a time, or even add multiple circuits. Let me just hit 1, and I'll choose that this is a miscellaneous type circuit, or a measurement device circuit. And I'll actually choose the labels that are on the device, so we know how to connect this up. So this would be the incoming label, A1, and then I'll put a comma, and then the outgoing circuit right here, A2. So that's the only circuit information we need. If we had other types of circuits, maybe if it needed external power or something like that, we could add that here as well. I'll choose OK, and it will ask us if we would like to add this to the SQL database catalog for future projects to use. In this case, I will say yes. We also have the option to only add this component for this project and this component only, so it won't be added as a database record for other projects to use. I will choose yes to add it to the catalog and say OK. And now we have that as an item in the database. Another way of adding items to the catalog, if you want to do this in a bulk fashion, on the Library tab inside of SOLIDWORKS Electrical, we can go to the Manufacturer Parts Manager button. And this is the actual database, and we can search through here. So if there was a part that was similar to one that we were looking for, we could actually use the properties of that. So if I went to my Filters tab and unchecked the In the Class button, choose my manufacturer for Acme, which should be at the bottom of the list. This will appear alphabetically in the right location as soon as I restart the software. Now I'll do my search and see that I have that one item from Acme that I've added. And I'll select it. Now if I want to go ahead and create a new item, I can choose the Add button. If I right-click on Add with an item highlighted in the list, it will actually copy the properties of that device to the new part number. So I'll choose a -2, pick a base component, and I'm going to set this to be the amp meter. And I will edit terminal numbers appropriately. I'll also set the appropriate 3D part, which was also copied over, but I want it to be the amp meter, not the voltmeter. And I'll set my description. So I'll say OK. And it also checks for duplicate part numbers in the system, whether it be the part number from the manufacturer or the article number. So I'll say no, I don't want to have a duplicate part number. This is a great check that the system is providing for us. And I'll set this to something different. And now we have the amp meter and the voltmeter. You can also do a bulk import in the system, where you can take an Excel file with all of the different values already outlined and then dump them into the system. You can easily get an Excel or a CSV file from most of your ERP or MRP systems or your purchasing systems that can export this type of information, and then you can just bring that in and add that to your database. There is yet a fourth option as well that might be beyond the scope of this course to actually link this database to another database, and we have tools available for that. So now that I've added a new part, I could go into the amp meter right here, go to the symbol properties, and do a search for the Acme company. Now you notice it's not finding anything because my classification is set wrong. So if I uncheck in the class, I see my voltmeter amp. I can actually go right to the properties of this and correct this right now. I forgot to set this from voltmeter to amp meter last time, so I will set that appropriately now. And now if I went to in the classification, it will display properly, and I can use it. And there we have it.